What is going on, toy fans? Welcome to another episode of the Plastic Action UK podcast, the only podcast that will break down every aspect of toy photography until we've run out of aspects, and then we'll just move on to news like every other one. Anyway, today's episode we're going to
starting next week.
Posing. We're going to go on to posing. So limber up your figures and rub up those joints as we take you from everything from walking, vanilla, magnum, blue steel, and to tornado kick the shit out of your opponent. Anyway, I can't do this alone, so he can build your action figures at home by cutting up some foam. It is Tom from Tom's Dioramas. How are you?
Hello. Good, mate. Yourself?
I am lovely, lovely, lovely. That's what I am. And he is a captain, but he definitely does not have America's arse. It is the smallest of ridges. How are you?
I'm good, mate. You?
Oh, so much fun. All good, mate. All good. So let's get into some posing tips. So today we're going to look at how to properly dynamically pose your figure, or just put them in a stand, crouching over the toilet, whatever you want to do. But some of the figures obviously have different joints, different lines. Some have very weak wrists, as Tom may know too much about.
Yes.
And everything. Those are and ones we just love to hate, and the ones that don't stand up. So, and everything in between. So I'm going to spin the roulette, and I'm going to go with Tomo. Tomo, what are some of your faves to pose up and make them look like, you know, they're not having sex with each other or anything? Naughty man.
It's quite. I mean, I generally go SHF. I think if I want something that poses well. Obviously, you've got like Marvel Legends. That
it's kind of bread and butter.
You can always bang a pose out of a legend, but like SHF, like even like the Star Wars ones, which aren't the most poseable SHF figures, you can kind of pull off the majority of poses that you want to get.
Yeah, for the action that they have in those films, yeah, you can pretty much nail what they do.
Yeah, and again, I think they look great just in a vanilla pose as much as they do in an action one. So generally, posing wise, I'll go for an import.
Yeah.
Over a domestic. Anytime.
Yeah, exactly. There's loads. There's so much more in what they've done with the all the joints inside, just the mechanics of it, with the drop down stuff, with the drop down shoulders and elbows. I mean, some of them, like the SHF and on some Maifix, they've eliminated the bicep swivel in favour of just the shoulder rotation. Don't know. I sometimes prefer a bicep swivel just because I need my arms to go in a certain way. But yeah, no, you just, obviously with all that, you can bang out shit that you just can't with the Marvel Legends.
Yeah.
The more articulation, the better. And yeah, so I agree with you on that. And I think they're kind of like cousins in a way, but Maifix and SHF with very, very similar articulation. It depends on the character again. Just because some, like say for instance, the Maifix or the SHF Deadshot from Suicide Squad was ridiculously tall compared to others.
Yeah, the Maifix was really tall. Yeah. Their whole Suicide Squad line was out of whack with everything they've ever done.
Completely. And so and they normally sort of pretty much scaled similar size to the SHF, which is just shy. The Marvel Legends have always been a bit taller, but yeah, they just went mental with that one. But too closely, they're in articulation.
I will generally go for them. I mean, like the DC icons are quite good as well. In fairness, like I'm messing around with Nightwing at the minute, but they didn't. They were missing the thigh swivel.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that is a big. Like I'm trying to do him in a kicking pose here, so like a flying kick, and it's very hard to pull off without that thigh swivel. Like you can get a
foot straight up,
a kind of a basic sort of flying kick, but
no thigh swivel. Does he have a shin swivel? Like
he's got a shin swivel there, which is lucky because you can kind of bring the foot vaguely straight, so you can have him more, like that. But without that thigh swivel, the only way to get the leg out, is to kind of move it right out, and then it kind of just throws it off a little bit because it's just coming up a little bit too unnaturally,
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those things you've kind of got to work with what you've got. And I mean, you can pull off still fairly convincing poses, but again, you can't bring this leg where you want it. Like, realistically, I want the side down there, and then to be able to twist it to have the foot coming up underneath this thigh, but you can't do that.
Yeah.
Because you don't have that swivel.
No.
But again, it's just working with what you've got.
Really. Yeah, and I've always maintained as well that the pose only works as well as your camera angle. So whatever camera angle you're going for, the pose in that angle will, you can hide articulation. You can get away with, even if you haven't got the most articulated figure, with having a good camera angle on it. You can make him look like he's doing something that he can actually do.
Like if you kind of had the camera more like that,
yeah,
you can get away with it a bit more. Because it kind of fudges where that foot's sitting.
Yeah.
But again, if you have it like that, you can clearly see that foot's not sitting in the sort, quite the right place.
In a comfortable position, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not far off,
position.
But you just don't get those tiny little adjustments you want to make without that side swivel, unfortunately.
Yeah, Mattel. It's Mattel, is it? It's not Mattel.
That was DC Collectibles.
DC Collectibles their own thing, and I've always found DC, even in the multiverse stuff, there's just something missing that could have made the articulation just great. And it's just one of those things that seem to be Marvel Legends and Hasbro's go-to thing to do on every single figure.
Yeah.
Simplest of thing, like even just ankle swivel, ankle rocker, or something, which is defined bog standard in a Marvel Legend, will just be that one thing that's missing. And you think, why on earth haven't you done it? Like McFarlane's hip thigh, with the legs spread out.
Yeah.
I hate that mechanism. I really do. I don't know why they keep doing it, but just a T-bar with, what have I got here? Just a bog standard Bucky cap. Just here. Get some light on it. But instead, they've got this really blocky mechanism where you bring the foot up and the whole inside of the thigh is like squared off.
Yeah.
Because it'll come down in a square cut.
What I find weird about this,
their range, of Fortnite figures.
Unless you've got the torso sitting at the right angle, you can't pull the leg out.
No.
Which is very strange, but I probably won't be able to get it in the right position now.
Shit, one thing, I should have dug those out as well. Because me Rex, they've kept that squared sort of leg joint, and they've got added some articulation to it where it can fold out, but it's on just two little holes and a plug, and they popped out already.
But that's it. Though. If you move the torso to the side, it comes all the way out. But if you have that torso straight, you hardly get anything on it.
Yeah.
It's just a really weird
forced perspective, then, don't you?
It's just a really weird setup on it, which I'm hoping they kind of eliminate by the time they get onto the DC stuff.
Yeah, which is not looking like we'll see anything yet at 27 at San Diego this year. It might be next year, from what I'm seeing.
Is it?
Yeah, because obviously they're bringing out a whole last line of multiverse shit. Mattel.
Yeah, I was hoping that they might at least have some like art to show off,
Yeah, hopefully.
But despite like the flaws on that hip system, I'm really liking those Fortnite figures. To be honest, I think they're a really good line, especially for the price, like £20.
Yeah, and McFarlane definitely moving the right direction as well when it comes to their figures.
Actually adding articulation. Because I've defended Legends plenty of times, but like even with you guys, I've said like I think Legends are quite good. But considering they're the same price as these, and you've got these are a lower production run than Legends will be.
Yeah,
you've got butterfly joints. Like you've got the proper. I like the ab articulate, like the proper thing, as opposed to just a torso and waist cuts. I hate waist swivels.
Same.
Because the minute you move it, it just looks unnatural.
Yeah. And now he's got a big step going. I can't see unless I get it in my face. So it's just giant step. Yes, exactly. Ant-Man's a great one. Unless you've got the belt to hide it. Now there's a giant cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's sloppy,
with that sort of a joint, you turn it to the side.
Yeah.
And it's quite a natural.
Blended in.
Like you can't tell that it's been done because it moves naturally. Like when you move to the side,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about you, but my hip doesn't end up in front of my, like the front of me. It's like
you know when something's wrong, and it does.
So, I think McFarlane have really onto something with that. So I'm hoping the DC figures kind of match up with it.
Yeah, I think they're. I think the Fortnite seemed to be like a experiment on this new system they're working with, and fingers crossed. It would be stupid of them to go step back and start pumping out.
Well, this is it. I mean, they've just done that One Punch Man figure, which kind of brings in the Fortnite articulation to a degree on it, and it works so much better than if they'd have done it before. You'd have probably been able to move the arms forward and backwards, and move the legs forward and backwards, and that was about it. So they finally realised that people want their action figures to be articulated. Like, if you want a statue, like, buy a statue.
Yeah.
I like statues because they come in great poses, and you can just pop them on a shelf, and that's done. But if I buy an action figure, I want to put it into poses that I want to put it into.
Yeah.
So
that kind of leans into like Revoltech and where they went the whole different direction, and it's kind of like they make the ugliest joints possible purely so you can get him in any position on Earth, and it made it challenging, like for say, not saying necessarily they designed it this way, but as a toy photographer, man, that tested your ability to hide joints.
Yeah,
and it kind of went a bit too far for me personally, where if I got him into a pose, I'd be like, great, now I need to put him into something else because all this is just going to waste in one pose. Sometimes I like not having to worry about hiding joints all the time. So it's like, I don't, as much as it's cool to challenge yourself in hiding joints, I don't really feel all the time I need to or want to. Do you know what I mean? I've got to be in the mood for that. So that's why Revoltech's kind of a line that I'm not, I'm all right with. They look good, but it's just not for me. I don't need to be tested. What's more challenging for me is taking a figure with very little articulation and make him look like he's doing some sort of freaky gymnastic move. That's more challenging for me. Is to get the best pose out of a shit articulation.
Revoltech is definitely more of a chore than any other figure.
Yeah, especially.
I mean, I've only got Carnage at the minute, and Carnage is probably one of the better ones out of the ones that I've had and messed around with. But even then, it's still like I'm at the point where I've got him in a pose on my shelf where you can't really see the joints, and I now don't want to move him again.
No,
because I know putting him back on the shelf is going to be a bitch trying to get him back to standing without looking shit.
Yeah. It's like a freaking Transformer. It's just a massive, complicated one.
Well, the same, because ironically, like all my Transformers stand much better on the shelf, like with no effort whatsoever.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah. Speaking of that, I can't wait for that damn Bumblebee. Did you pre-order yours in the end, Tom?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm still fighting it.
Knife edge, didn't you?
It's so close. It's only because I haven't finished my G1 set yet. Like, I'm going to get Ironhide and Bumblebee next.
Yeah.
From the classics. So I kind of want to nail that before I look at any other Transformers. But that Optimus, Jesus Christ, it looks good.
The best movie. I mean, just since me and movie figures, and I like having one main representation of a franchise that I love.
Yeah,
the bad guy to go with it, and then I'll just get obsessed and get every single one. That's normally how it goes. But with that, it's like, no, if I want a Transformer, it's going to be Optimus, and I need the best Optimus out there. And just I've held off, and then saw Bumblebee the other night. But a movie that, honestly, going off topic a little bit, but a movie that no one wanted. Thought, if all these Transformers movies are so shit now, what the fuck's a Bumblebee movie going to do? Stupidest decision in the world. Thankfully it weren't, because it's one of the best Transformers movies that are made.
It's like, you may as well have just put a camera in my house when they announced it then, because that's pretty much what I was saying. Like, I don't know who wants a Bumblebee movie. What's the point?
Yeah.
And then I watched it and I was like, this is the best Transformers film I've seen.
If they hadn't incorporated that War on Cybertron showing everyone in their G1 outfits part at the beginning, and it just been a retelling of the first one where he meets a kid and then all come down and it wouldn't have been as good. But and of course translating that Optimus perfect adaptation, G1 adaptation, and made
it was G1. They were all the same. You had like Soundwave, and it was just. Everyone on the screen just looked.
I would love to have seen.
They were G1, but they weren't.
Yeah. They had their little tweaks to make them slightly different, but they were close enough.
But if they were, it was exactly what everyone has wanted to see. If they'd got the G1 cartoon and just said, right, if it was real, it would look like this.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's what. So you've got all the mechanical parts and the pistons and everything that would be there, but it looks like he's just stepped out of G1.
Yeah,
yes.
Which is what the fans have been asking for since they announced the first one.
Yeah,
and they didn't get it until now. So I'm just hoping they make another one.
Same with just if they did a full-blown Transformers movie, not just a solo movie on a character. Well, that style, take my money. I will make it rain in that theatre. But
I mean, from what I've seen of that Bumblebee figure, the 3A one, like if you get that, we're gonna have to do another episode on posing because that looks mental for what it is. Like it's like mainly die cast.
Yeah.
The weight to it, but you can just pull off some cracking poses with that thing.
Sure, that's an hour-long review, 100%.
Yes.
Every nook and cranny in detail. I don't care if people fall asleep halfway through. I'll probably fall asleep through editing it. I don't care.
It's something else. It's art. It's action figure art.
I'm gonna have to have the camera back there because I don't think I'm going to get it in the frame.
It's your childhood, though, isn't it?
Yeah, man, and that's what I love about it.
And it's everything you've ever wanted. You know, you watch it and you just go, you love it so much because it is just it's like reliving that childhood moment. You know, from because the cartoon, you know, from now, but bringing it into like now, and you're an adult, and you just think, this is what I wanted. I didn't know what I wanted, but this was it.
Yeah, which is the exact reason I collect the G1 Masterpiece ones because they're the toys that I wanted when I was a kid. Not the ones we got, because the ones we got look nothing like the cartoon.
Yeah.
No.
Whereas the figures I've got now look like they've just stepped out the cartoon, and that's what I wanted when I was a kid. So
just summed up adult collecting in general.
Yeah, very much. As a kid.
Because coming up with now is what we wanted as a kid, man.
Yeah.
We had some fun with those as a kid, but yeah, for sure now. Just so we can look and think that is my childhood in one cabinet and one display. And all the shots that we do, and that's why I talk photography is kind of like all that imagination we had when we're playing with our toys and all the shit we were, coming on up here as we're just doing this. We're bringing to life now in still images exactly how we wanted it in our heads, a bit close as we could.
Yeah.
And and just thinking, bang, that's the kind of thought I had when I was playing with these things.
Yeah. Exactly, which is exactly how I got started building the diodes as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because it was like when you saw toy adverts as a kid, and they were all set up in this big scene, and you always wanted that, but you didn't have it, so you just had to imagine it as you're playing at the top of your stairs or on your nan's dresser or something.
Yeah. I wanted to be one of those kids in that advert.
Yeah.
That's the best job ever as a kid.
Like when there's a Batman advert, he stood on a rooftop sliding down.
Yeah.
And you haven't got that, so you've just got to throw him off your banister. But
slide him down it.
Nowadays, I can sit here and make it to look exactly like that, so it is just being a child again.
It is, yeah.
Exactly. And there's magical. Can't stop being gay. There's nothing wrong with it at all.
But anyway, that is massively off topic, so.
Massively, yeah. Segue. We digress, but it was worth it. Little memory lane trip there for you.
Yeah, you got a glimpse of what it's going to be like when we run out of photography stuff.
Yeah, pretty much.
We're just going to be sitting around chatting shit every week.
Do one of those drunk, gold.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do a live from the pub podcast at some point.
Oh, absolutely. Oh dear. So is that your least or favourite? Have you got more to touch upon, Tom?
I mean, I've got I've literally just picked this guy up because this is ridiculous.
Yeah, man. But nice.
This is the one I've been meaning to review this since I got it, and I haven't had a chance because I haven't put it down. I'll pick it up and think, right, I'm going to do a review of it now, and then I'll sit there and I'll be like, and then it's like an hour and a half's gone, and I'm like, oh, shit, I ain't got time.
When you've got the camera rolling and you start doing that, it's going to be an hour.
Yeah, definitely.
But the way they've done the articulation on this is really, really clever.
Yeah,
like it's all rubberized. Like the whole torso's rubber, the upper arms are rubber. So you pull the arm up, It all slides over the top. You've got so much range out of it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And you've obviously got a double elbow there. And you look at this ridiculous arm and you think, well, that's not going to be a double. But you get it up to there and you think, well, it's not bad considering the size of the arm.
Yeah.
And then you find the extra bend in there.
Oh, mate.
And you realise it actually bends even more than the other side.
Fucking hell, look at that. I don't care if people are complaining about the Lego fingers. That is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing they done wrong was make the fingers slightly too long.
Yeah.
Because if you look at them there...
Yeah, I see, yeah.
I think they could have knocked one joint out of the top and it would have been spot on. So, I mean, to be honest, I'm even tempted to try and pop the pins out and just, like, if you look at that finger there as opposed to the other two, I think that's a great length. So I'm kind of tempted to try and get some, like, watchmaking tools or something just to pop the pins out.
Yeah.
And bring these top fingers down a row.
Do you reckon you'll still be able to make a fist even with one section gone?
I would think so, looking at it, yeah. In fairness, you'll probably be able to make a better fist.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it there, it's all right, but you have to kind of get a bit of a triangular thing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that, if you took a section out, it might be actually close that gap.
Yeah, I think it would be like that as opposed to like that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that is this figure's only fault. Like, the rest of the... I mean, look at that for an ab crunch. Like, it's...
ain't bad, man. And it's hidden as well.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get even more on it. Like, it's...
I'm dying to bust one of those open and see what's going on inside.
It's crazy. It really is. So, this is a great figure for posing. Like, even just everything about it. Jean-Claude Van Damme, right there. So, this is... If anyone was thinking about getting this, I would pick one up while you still can.
Yeah.
Don't get the bootleg because that is a piece of shit. It really is.
I'm gonna put a picture up of in the edit. I'll put a picture up of the genuine and the bootleg, and you'll see just how bad that thing is. It's not even. They're not even trying. They really didn't try with that at all.
Exactly. I mean, the only bad thing is that I've now dropped a horn. So I've got to try and find that later, but it's around somewhere.
Half the accessories for my bloody Caliban wave before I got to bloody review it, and I found most of them. Just the floor, man. The floor is a black hole.
Well, I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's only a really, really dark red, tiny peg on a black floor, and I'm completely colourblind, so it's not an issue. We'll be fine. I'll find it at some point.
Brilliant. Oh, dear. Cool. All right, and then we'll circle around to you then, Carlos. What do you enjoy putting into random positions?
I love the SHF, the same as Tom. But this one I went for a Figma.
Okay, yeah.
With Deadpool, he's one of my favourite to pose because he's just, the range on him is just amazing, isn't he?
That is a great figure. Really nice.
They did a fantastic job, but they also did the Goro as well. The suited figures.
Yeah.
And I just think just the quality on these as well is just in the range and everything you can move. The toe articulation as well. It's better than the Maifix. The Eggsy and the Harry. It's just so much better than the quality, and it can move across quite nicely. It moves. It's open. So as the jacket opens up, and it just because it's quite soft, like a rubber. See what I mean?
Yeah. Closer into your face line. That's it. Yeah, we can see
like that. There you go. So you can just move it around a lot better. See what I mean? So you can get those poses out.
Got a question with you on that one. How do you find the top part of the body actually going into the midsection rather than it being the other way around?
Over the top.
Because the midsection sort of overlaps the very the top part, whereas normally is the top half overlaps the bottom. So
but it hides so it hides the crunch there. So if you see it forward, can you see that? It just looks like the shirt's
Yeah.
So the middle section, if you can imagine, it was a huge belt around it, and everything moves in amongst it, and it hides it really well, rather than like trying to find the ledge, rather than the legends where you're just going over the top.
Yeah.
So it hides. I think it hides it really nice, and you can because you can instead of having that big lip, which if you're coming up at an angle, because usually we come at a low angle when you're taking a picture, you can still see the lip, whereas you come at a low angle here, it misses it because the lip's the opposite way around. So I quite like that. It's just those little tiny features. I like that. Yeah, it's just simple things like that. And obviously the articulation, absolutely amazing again with the head. Change the faces. I think they do some really cool stuff. I think.
Yeah, I mean the only issue I've ever had with Figma is a lot of their joints are quite obvious.
Yeah, and they
like
on the back.
The elbows and the knees.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they've always got the big ball, but you get a lot of range out of them, so it's kind of a bit of a trade. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as I think, as it is, it is an absolutely brilliant one. You don't even notice. It's like on the torso, you've got like a double joint here. You can see it on the side, but on the front you can't see it because the flap comes lower.
Yeah.
Underneath the belt, so it hides it really well.
Cool.
So he could he could really bend over and get into some brilliant positions. So just quality. That's just quality. Things like that.
Yeah, I've been tempted by that figure a few times, but I can never find it for a sensible price. It's either a bootleg or someone wants like 90 quid for it.
That's it. They do hold. You can see why they're so expensive because these kind of they do hold their own.
I was kind of hoping it might drop now the Maifix one's out, but I think they kind of dropped the ball on that a bit and all.
It looked a bit plain Jane to me. A bit plain, but I went for a bad boy. Going for an old school for articulation.
Is that a Toy Biz? Oh shit! Well, who made that one then?
Who made that one, Tom?
I think that is a Toy Biz, but isn't that from the Spider-Man range before?
Yeah, he's the Spider-Man range. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah,
the Spider-Man classics.
Yeah, I quite like it.
Looks like an Alex Ross type of sculpt they've gone for, kind of based on his artwork, just with the face.
Yeah, I'm just making a guess. I'm sure someone in the comments will be able to.
And you can cross it. Tell me the articulation because at the back, it's obviously got those.
Oh Christ!
Yeah.
Is that? I don't even know what that is. I don't know if I've ever seen that figure.
No, I don't think like it either.
I picked this one up in a bundle, and when you think, oh, do you know, I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan, bit controversial, and what can I say?
I quit.
I liked the film.
We out, bitch.
Yeah, but I was never into Spider-Man when I was a kid. I was a Batman kid, so so I bought this as part of a bundle. But you think, oh, do you know, I'm gonna flip them or get rid of them because they're just loads of shit. But I really like this guy. I love the way his articulation. His arms come across his body. Yeah, and it is just mad. And I've used him, and I think even on his, on the back and that, look at that sort of that crappy.
What did it say on the bottom of his foot? Because I'm really annoyed now that I don't recognise that figure.
Marvel International, made in China.
Marvel International. That's a new one on me.
Marvel Entertainment. My eyes. Marvel Entertainment, 2004.
That would have been
4. So that would have still been Toy Biz because Hasbro didn't get it until.
I think he is a Toy Biz.
He's quite big though. Maybe it's an old Marvel Select.
No, because they never had the articulation, did they?
No, they were like they were small statues, like that black cat with the spider in the window is pretty much a statue.
But it's just such a cool figure, and he was. And just those things you pick up, you think, oh, I'll get rid of that, but I never have.
Right, you're gonna have to take a photo of that and send it to me, and then I'm going to send it to Craig because Craig will know what it is.
You do that.
Close-up shot on that face, because the detail on that face alone, even for a Skype, my phone camera, that's crazy. That looks so much like the Alex Ross artwork design for the Green Goblin. It is ridiculous. That face looks awesome.
It is.
It looks so good. I think you should move out of the way and keep that up there, and just sit to the side and talk.
Seriously,
But no, that is I've never seen that. I can't.
because you can see the plastic on his goggles. You can see.
Yeah, you can see his eyes.
But
like,
the figure's actually behind that. It's not like painted on. It's actually translucent plastic. It's awesome, isn't it? Oh, I love this one.
I'm not surprised. I'll give you that one.
Never got rid of it. Just love it. I was looking at other things, figures that high-end toys that they make recently. You think that they should have amazing articulation, but are just shit. So I'm not going to go with something typical like the Ghostbusters, because we all know how appalling that is. But I'm going to go for my Mezco Wonder Woman.
I wanted that figure for ages.
It looks really good, but that is the full extent of her arm.
Bollocks. So she can't do that then.
Ready? and even look, that's the leg, full extent. It's
that's pretty much like Catwoman.
You have to pop the joints off, and you have to do a forced perspective of anything. And there's no ab crunch at all. There's nothing. This is one solid piece.
Damn, they dropped the ball on that massively.
It looks really good, and it looks fairly good. I've seen better head sculpts, but So for a high end figure, single joints, just no effort.
Damn.
Yeah.
But that's when you've got to put the work in then to get your poses.
Yeah. Well, I end up popping joints off, and trouble with the legs is I pop them off, you see, to get a good like sitting down pose with the legs crossed. So I popped joints off, and I went to put them back on, and they've just loose now because you've taken them off.
Yeah,
she doesn't stand very well at all, not for very long anyway, and she's all over the shop. I just think for the price, the quality should be better, and especially the articulation, because it's just not there. So I went for some really good ones, and high-end ones, and that's the Mezco just dropped the ball. But I think lately they have done on quite a few figures. To be fair, I think the best one they've done recently is Tom's Batman. Is it Sovereign Batman?
Yeah.
That looks amazing, and they do the double joints, and they look like they put the effort in. But then you're looking at other figures. I know they say they're on about the Joker body with the single joints and that. They should just put them in as standard. It ruins the figure.
At first, a lot of people were saying, "Well, it's the size of the arms; they're quite thin." But you look at Spider-Man, or the Gomez body they've done; they've got double joints.
Yeah, you can.
I mean, but you look at the Nightwing figure again, the arms aren't any thinner than that, and that's double jointed.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's that quality, isn't it?
Yeah, standard Marvel legend, and they've nailed it. I
mean, I didn't bring the DC Icons Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simple Figma joint.
Oh, I've just got a button because I've just been doing some off-camera research. It's the Sinister Six Goblin.
Is it really?
From the Toy Biz Sinister Six box set.
Toy Biz.
And I'll be honest, I've seen a lot of the figures from that, like the Craven and the Doc Ock.
Yeah.
I've been after that Doc Ock for a while because I want the tentacles to go on my new Hasbro one.
Yeah.
But I didn't like any of the other figures from it, so I've never really looked at it. No. But that Goblin actually looks really good.
He does look really good, and it's which one of those sort of the diamonds in the rough, isn't it? You buy a bundle of figures and you.
Because the rest of that box set is fucking dreadful.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I got rid of most of everything else. And so apart from that, you got the standard SHF, which they're just standard. They're what you go to if you wanted a really good articulated pose, wouldn't it? I can't fault the new Ant-Man. The posing on this guy, he's really cool. And I love the shoulder joint so that he can pull his arms forward.
That's nice. Fair play.
Yeah, the butterfly joints on SHF are always.
And you get the quality as well. So unlike the Figma, where it obviously here's comic book detailed, when it comes to movie details for the SHF, I love if you can see the actual sculpt of the
Yeah, no, that's
so,
beautiful.
You know, yeah, and it just looks really good. And the helmet,
honeycomb. Yeah.
and you can see inside this helmet. You can look through into his face in there. It's just quality, isn't it? Things like that. For posing, I go Japanese every time. I like the only thing I do call out Marvel Legends because I just think some of the quality in that, but you know, I can't fault the head sculpts and also the pricing as well. If you're looking at building an army, you can afford to build an army with that. If you were trying to build an army with SHF, you've got to have a really good job.
I mean, fair play to anyone who's got all those SHF Stormtroopers. I mean, I'm not sure if they're a decent price point, but still, it's more expensive than you would for a Hasbro Black Series.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know,
although the crazy thing with a lot of that is, I was looking at getting one of the Mimban Troopers from Solo because I love like really weathered looking Stormtrooper. Like the sound, I'd get a Sand Trooper over a Stormtrooper any day because I love the dirty, grimy look.
And do you like the Scouts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like all those sort all those sort of ones. I think look better than just a plain white trooper.
Yeah.
But it's cheaper for me to import an SHF Mimban Trooper from Japan than it is to try and track down a Hasbro one.
Wow.
Really?
That's something to think about, isn't it?
I can get one from Mike and Beanie shipped for 28 quid, SHF one.
Fucking hell, man.
And I cannot find a Mimban from Hasbro for any less than 35.
Wow.
And that's America. So then you're going to have to pay the import and everything on top.
That is crazy, isn't it?
It's ridiculous. Because they made it a Walgreens exclusive, I think, or a Target exclusive. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And it's the same with the standard Stormtrooper. They've never re-released, as far as I'm aware. Like I haven't seen it in they've done all these vintage figures, but they haven't put a Stormtrooper in there.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most sought after ones now. So people pay a lot of money for just the standard Trooper. So just buying one, you'd be looking at probably the same sort of price for a SHF one as opposed to a Hasbro one now.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get a lot like the Chinese bootleg ones, which are probably fine if you just want to stand them on your shelf and build an army.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to like do some posing, I wouldn't really trust them because they're probably gonna snap in half like the first time you fucking do it.
Kill you with lead poisoning.
Yeah, but for just standing on a shelf, they're fine. But it's just crazy the way Hasbro works sometimes. It really is.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't have thought
in the kitchen.
No. Not at all. But that's a good call, that.
But it's like they never look at the secondary market. They can't look at the secondary market because if they did, like if I went to Hasbro now for Marvel Legends, I would look at eBay every day and say, right, look, Rogue's going for stupid money. Money. So if we do a re-release of Rogue, we'll make a fucking fortune.
Exactly.
It's true.
We've got the mold, redo it, send out fucking like 200 cartons of just Rogue, and they're going to sell.
Yeah.
But no, they'll just spend more money on tooling for figures that we don't really want. Like, no one's going to complain if in the next X-Men wave they do repack Rogue or repack the Jim Lee Cyclops.
Yeah.
No, definitely
the ones that people missed out on and want.
Yeah.
And it's not hard to see what ones are like that because you can just look at the secondary market, see what's going for crazy money.
Yeah.
And
it's the prime example of that is who is it? Someone posted up on one of the Facebook groups where they had an email from their supplier that Hasbro has stopped. They're not going to re-release the Mysterio.
Yeah, that was in demand, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think, was it in demand or Toys R Us? It was one of the two.
In demand, I think. Toys R Us might have done the same, but yeah, so it's like, why not? He was like one of the hottest ones. You cocked up first time with the green head inside, with the green skull. So you did a white version or translucent version, and he's still. I don't know if I don't know what the prices of him is now.
They're going like 30, 35 quid. Generally, I think they probably plateaued a little bit at the minute because the film version's out.
Yeah.
So a lot of people will probably buy that over overspending because I mean they're not far off look wise.
No, I'm seeing people speaking of that when a new brand or a new version of a figure and everyone tries to sell the old one. Yeah. I've seen loads of people try and sell their SHF Power Rangers now, trying to get the ones. And I'm like, they're still going for like 400-500 quid on eBay. And you want to... it's crazy because they want to try and copy the Hasbro ones.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the way the market shifts like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe
It's
there's something...
crazy.
If Hasbro do come back to MCM in October and we get there, and maybe something we can present to them, it's like, you not thought of this yet?
Yeah.
You know? Maybe they haven't. Why not?
It baffles. I mean, I can half understand if they want to keep the secondary market alive.
Yeah.
But when it gets to a point of, like, I've seen Rogue sell this week on Facebook groups for between 65 and 100 quid 3 times. 3 times.
Ridiculous.
For a £20 action figure. And it is,
Depends
as much as I like Marvel Legends, they are £20 action figures.
Yeah.
They're not worth any more than that.
Especially the female bucks, which aren't very good at all.
No.
You know? Which they still probably won't.
I've just bought a select one, so I'm going to do some surgery on that. Make it a bit shorter and pop it on the shelf, and that'll do for my little Jim Lee display that I've got.
The head sculpt looks better on the select.
And the articulation's better, which I never thought I would say about a select against the Legends. But the articulation's better. Like, it's got double jointed elbows.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the only double jointed Legends I know female wise was Proxima that had double jointed elbows.
Biggest cop out ever with their female, and I hated it when I think I've mentioned this before when they tried to justify it when Boog was interviewing them 2 years ago when it kept pressing on them, and it was when they released the Iron Man 3 Gwyneth Paltrow. It was like, well, we give you 3. We got the Proxima Midnight. Yeah, she's an alien. She's gonna have a bigger body. Next, oh well, we got the one double joint. Yeah, because she's wearing one of Iron Man's gauntlets. Next, get it on regular arms. Stop copping out with excuses. You know. And then try and say, well, we're giving you 3. What more do you want? The whole buck changed. That'd be nice.
I like watching Boog do interviews because he doesn't.
Yeah, brutal.
You see the one where he had the interview with Pierre at Mezco and he was just hitting him about the wire capes.
No,
and the poor guy was there like, well, I think the way we do it now is quite good with the posing wires and everything. I think people like it. And then Boog just laughed in his face. And I haven't really seen Mezco do any interviews at things like that since.
No, they haven't. They refuse to take interviews now.
Yeah.
Of how crappy they're, just in general, their FaceTime of the company, you know, whenever they present themselves at these shows and the people there, they're just like, you know, no. Again, it revolves around Mezco. They do pump out some good figures, but man, the way they do business and the attitude behind the things in the company office is just terrible.
I can't stand them as a company. Can't stand them. I like some of their figures. Hate some of their figures, but as a company, I would quite happily not buy from them.
Yeah,
like I'm 100%. Trying to stick to like the ones that I really want. Like the Batman, I'm trying to build up the 3 that they're doing.
Yeah,
but then have you seen the picture of that new Joker out today?
Getting awful. And I saw Darius's post, which went with what we were talking about, because immediately he put up. And it was only pictures of out the box, and the arms still had the plastic wrapping around them. So it completely covered up the elbows, and everyone was like, "Oh, look how good does this look, everyone? Look at this, look how good!" And everyone's in the comments going, "Oh, I can't wait!" So I just chimed in saying, "Yeah, the QC looks fucking terrible." After seeing your comment, I said, "Yeah, I hope you give a fair review." Eating out of their pocket. I don't give a fuck. I'll be savage as hell. You know, I like his reviews, and you know, he's done more for toy photography now, being able to partner with Mezco. He's shine a light and saying like it is possible for one of us to actually work with these companies rather than them do it themselves.
Yeah,
you know, we do this every single day. It's our hobby, and to see that is great.
That man can pose a figure as well.
He can pose the fuck out of a figure, and I'm so happy. You know, fair play. It's a good look for him, and but in the end, obviously, he's reaping the rewards. Obviously, naturally, he will now be the first out the gate for any Mezco review.
Yeah,
won't beat him in a Mezco review. But it kind of makes you see it through a different lens now. Is he still going to be unbiased? Is he going to call him a shit figure? Hopefully he stays, you know, the same. He'll call him out. I don't like this. This is not great. I
think, in fairness, I think he'll be.
I hope so. Yeah, I think it'll be fair.
I think
it'd be a lot fairer than I would be if I was in that position, to be honest. So
I think he's going to have to be careful, be really diplomatic about how he approaches it, and if he's going to pick apart, he's going to have to pick it apart, but also put in those good points as well to like damage limitation. Otherwise, he runs the risk of upsetting a very big company and not getting those exclusives anymore.
But it's no different to a lot of like Shartimus gets figures sent to him, all the time, and quite often you'll tell when he's got a figure sent to him as opposed to one that he's bought, because the review will be slightly. It's not that he like covers up any issues with it, but he softens how he feels about it.
He's very diplomatic about it, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's very
which I think
he'll still pull it apart.
Yeah.
But in a really nice way, in a bit more of a fluffy way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, which I think is, if you want to work with the company, it's kind of what you got to do, isn't it?
It's what expected of you, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. No knocking on that at all. It's just if you know a figure's obviously bad.
Yeah, I would like to think that. But I mean, in fairness to Darius as well, even when he wasn't doing stuff with Mezco and other companies, he's always kind of had quite a positive outlook on what he's doing.
Yeah, more of a gentleman, wasn't he? Towards
them. It is going to be harder to look at when someone's.
I always think if you watch it and you read between the lines, though. So if he's giving it a kind of a little bit of a, this could be improved on. I think you read between the lines and you think, actually, there might be a bigger fault than what's being stated. I think, if you use your intelligence a little bit, you can read those sort of signs, can't you?
Yeah, but at the same time, if you're going to buy a figure, you've generally made up your mind before you watch a review anyway. You're more watching the review to see what you're getting rather than having your buying thing swayed by a review, especially with Mezco, because they tend to, like, by the time his Jim Gordon review was up, it was sold out. So it didn't really matter either way,
No, it was nice to see what it looked like.
Yeah.
That's the same with any Batman figure that they release as well. They just sell out, no matter what.
It's the same with pretty much any figure. Gomez sold out in 45 minutes, I think, the other week.
Yeah.
And
actually, looking at that looks a pretty cool figure.
It does, but a lot of it's the hype around Mezco. Especially when they first came out, I remember, like, I was in a few of the Mezco groups, and I would see posts every day saying, "Oh, have you seen the Shazam they've revealed? It looks amazing. Oh, I can't wait to get it. Who can tell me about Shazam?" It's like, if you don't know about Shazam, why the fuck are you buying a Shazam figure? You're buying it because of who he's made it, not because it's what you want. And I think
Mezco, loyal to the brand.
Yeah, Mezco survive on brand loyalty as opposed to their figures being good, which kind of means they get away with a lot more shit.
They can cut corners and people would just still buy their stuff.
Unfortunately, isn't it?
Yeah.
Those single jointed elbows have no place nowadays in modern action figures, and I think it's probably like a 60-40 split on double to single jointed elbows with Mezco, which is outrageous, really.
Mm-hmm.
For 80 quid, 70, 80 quid you're paying for these figures, and they don't have the articulation.
But then I think some of the female figures in general across the border are poorly articulated compared to their sort of male.
Oh, they are.
So,
but even with Mezco,
that needs addressing as well, doesn't it?
It does. But even with Mezco, like Doctor Strange has got that.
Yeah.
That's his elbow range.
That's appalling, isn't it? Especially for a guy who
he's got mystic powers, so you want to be able to pull off all crazy hand poses. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's that.
It's real struggle to try and get the Ghostbuster the wand in because it's like 10 and 2 position driving a car,
and there's no excuse for it nowadays. No. And the point of having cloth over the top is to hide the joints.
Yeah.
So you could make if the double jointed elbow on that particular size of elbow had to be ugly, it doesn't matter because you're not going to see it.
Yeah, no.
That's the point of the cloth.
Totally
so there's literally no justification in my eyes for single jointed elbows on an £80 figure.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The money's been spent on it, and you just expect it to be quality, don't you? Out of the gate.
Exactly. So I think I'd like to see Mezco improve that because they can be quite challenging to shoot a lot of the time. Because of that, you haven't got the posability there.
Well, it depends what kind of poses you go for as well, isn't it? If you're trying to go for an action pose with the Mezco, it can let you down a little bit. But more like if you're going for a dramatic pose or a vanilla pose, that would be sort of the way it's the sort of the area that it comes into, doesn't it? Because they look so good.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, it's hard to pull off a decent vanilla pose with the limited movement if you want, because even in a vanilla pose, you want some sort of dynamic stance to it.
Chest out,
it has to have visual interest, and even that can be quite hard to pull off sometimes. But you work around it, don't you? That's the point of it.
Yeah.
What about you, Ben?
Mate, well, continuing on the Mezco front and the terms of the double joints and single joints, my new favourite to play around with right now, as I've got him in a pose, is the blade. This thing is an absolute beast. Now, he does indeed have
See, that's what you want.
Exactly.
Quality.
You know? Yeah. And his sting's lovely as hell. I'm really happy with him. They nailed it, man. They nailed the perfect build. You know, I mean, Wesley Snipes had a pair of fucking pecs on him like you wouldn't believe, and it's just a perfect buck for a blade. You know, and the head is not all neck. There is actually a head you can pop off rather than just the neck.
That's what I prefer generally.
I prefer as well. And again, it's like the joints. It's a 50-50 shot where you're going to get that. Most of the DC stuff, you're going to get the neck with it, and same with the Ghostbusters as well. But I absolutely love playing this guy around. Now I've got him into a pose very similar to when he Blade 1, when he jumps down, kills Quinn, gets his shade, and then starts beating the piss out of all the henchmen before he fights Frost, and he ends with his little like that. So I've got that kind of pose going on. But I'm going to adjust it for you, just for you, so I can give you a better range of what he does. Now, one thing I'm going to take away, because these things are sharp as fuck, is his glades. If I can, closing them up, because they're extremely tight joints. I can open one up without stabbing myself, because you could kill someone with these. Literally, you could take someone's eye out. They made them so sharp, it's like a scalpel blade, without breaking it. Yeah, that's cool. It's actually quite blunt. That one, that's friggin' sharp as hell. Actually hurts doing that. So I'm going to remove them because that's going to be painful. But yeah, so he's got a really good Van Damme on him. Awesome. Okay, which makes great for kicking poses. Semi-decent ab crunch, nothing major. Right. It's only partly, kind of. But
you kind of know what you're getting into with Mezco though. Ab crunch has always been one of their problems.
And because he's wearing a t-shirt, you can flex this guy around like you would a Marvel Legend, even with a cloth cape. And because it's stretchy, you're not too worried about it, getting too tight on the thread, the seam that it's going to split. And you can get him taking his sword out of his back, no issues. Oh, awesome. And it's just lovely. I'm over the moon with this guy, and I haven't stopped putting him down. The only annoying little gripe is that because his belt is loose, it rides up, and you can see the separation there. So it's just a matter of adjusting, and that's one thing as well. Is when you get him a figure in a dynamic pose, and you realise anything he's got on him that's loose may be slightly out of kink, and I won't notice it as I play the shot. My latest mishap with that, and I'm probably going to shatter some glass because I actually really love the way the shot came out. It's my Hercules shot, where he's just yanking out the chains, but his whole harness thing that he's got over him is ridden up. So, and because it's rubber plastic, it's fucking sticking out. And I was like, fuck, and it does shimmy down and stay down, and it's one of those things I just didn't adjust it, and didn't realise that it needed adjusting until post. No,
that's a good point. That's always something to look out for when you're posing, is loose accessories afterwards.
Yeah. That might have just shimmied out of place, and you just need to put them in. But for going on to this, I'm going to demonstrate a couple of kicking poses and just show you how well this guy can move. First of all, I'm going to go with a bit of advice when doing a fighting maneuver is, if you're not familiar with how the body's going to look in that particular move, and I advise Karl on this with his John Wick shot, Google image a reference of that particular move you want to do, and look at the way the body, and then find an image out of the selection you'll get on Google that matches closely to the kind of camera angle you're going for. That way you can get a feel with how you should be posing the figure. So with this, I'm a martial art nut. I love it so much, but I kind of nailed 2 kind of kicks that are easy to do. So I'm going to go with the spinning back kick. So with this one, so obviously leg can come out that far. The foot that's on the ground, turn it towards the body. And what I'm going to do is the back kick, I'm going to twist the body away from the kick, and then have him bring the leg in, bring the head round. Okay, this arm can just come up that much, and then that arm like that. Okay, so if I can get it looking on the angle, a bit more of a bend, kicking away. Okay, so it looks like he's about to just come on, bam. Okay.
Yeah, nice one. Yeah, it's good pose.
Okay, so yeah, and with the other one, so that's a spinning back kick. So if you wanted to get like a sense of motion, it's kind of I'll put some shots displaying 2 kicks, bit better. Yeah, so that's a bit better. And the next one is you can do this for in air if you've got a flight stand or on the ground, and you can balance him on 1 foot really well with this. Is the opposite way around when you want a front kick across the face, and that is again split. Okay, foot away, but you're going to twist the body in to the kick. You're going to twist the body in like that. Okay, and the arm that's here with the leg, that's going to come down, and then the other arm is going to come up high. Okay, so it's just like douche. It's going to kick you across the face like that. So that's for that kick, and the other way was for the other way. So this for the front style. So if you look at it from this end, sort of that motion with the arm back here, this one up, and if you're going to go for a shot like that, and you can have your goon's head like going with the motion, being kicked across the face. Okay, so that's kind of, you twist the body into the kick when you want a front one, away from the kick when you want a backspin. So yeah, and this just, you can balance him and fucking look at that. Get a goon in there with his face twisted halfway around as he's been impacted.
Yeah. So that figure comes into its own in poses like that. It really looks good.
Yeah. You know, you just.
I don't think I'm going to get the good doctor into those sort of poses.
1 out of 14,600,000 and something. Yeah. But yes, and the leather trousers, they do not hinder the articulation at all. You've got a bit of thigh swivel up there. It is a double jointed knee, and it's all nicely tucked into the boot. And yeah, it's brilliant. A really good ankle pivot, which is something you don't see from a Mezco these days. No. So you've got enough the foot can be planted on the ground still, even with a sort of a hero martial arts stance, which is always a key to plant your feet, which is something we see in NECA's promotional images all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Plant the damn feet. So I'm going to get this guy back in position. So yeah, he's my current new favourite at the moment. Get this guy. That will do. Put him back on the little setup I've got there. Make sure he stands. Which is not going to do for me now, is he? No. Okay. Yeah, there he is. Okay. And my least is also kind of like a love-hate relationship. So one of is NECA. NECA and their articulation kind of mirrors. Who's the best one to compare it to? I'd have to say probably McFarlane, in terms of you don't get much. So I'm going to bring out an example, and this pisses me off because they did certain things with their Predator line. Now I'm going to go with Hawkins. They're Dutch. There's tons of detail on the figure itself and the hands especially, but it was single elbow, you know, and you get a good range on the legs, but again you only get a single joint in the knee. But what really pissed me off, and because this one's got a full coat on, he's got pretty much fuck all crunch unless you make him lean forward at the weight, is the hands. Now if I can bring this up close, if I can actually just get a light on this. You can see it. It's basically where it looks like a multiverse figure, but they've just slopped the paint on, so you can't really distinguish the fingers. You know,
Yeah.
It's really bad paint job. And yet you look at one of the Arnie hands, and pretty much they're all individual, and they've just glued them together, and it's perfect. This one doesn't even have a friggin'. I'll give you an example. Sort of focus. How bad that trigger hand is.
That's terrible, isn't it?
It's fucking awful. Why don't you focus? But yeah, it's just so bad. It just looks like one mass of plastic, and it does. You can barely hold the gun, and I'm just thinking this is a nightmare to pose. The finger doesn't barely go into the trigger at all. It just won't even go in properly.
That takes some manipulation, does it?
Yeah, you need to cut it more. I don't know where Tom went. Tom disappeared. But yeah, I was really let down, especially when they got it good enough with the Arnies, with the Dutches.
But he was the main character, wasn't he?
Yeah, and they sort of like just. It's almost like they rushed him out.
Yeah.
Oh, Tom's just popped up on the messenger. His battery died, so he'll be back when he stuck his camera on charge. So yeah, really let down by that. I mean, these are mainly for display. There's not much posing you can do, especially with this guy, because he's in a panic state and he dies quick. But I just thought you would get the same sort of body we would with Arnie, with decent hands, they can hold weapons. Detail and stuff like the backpack, it's great. I was going to customize this guy and save me having to do it.
Yeah.
And I might do a t-shirt version, just buy another one and just take apart and do what I need to do to make a t-shirt version. But I was really let down by that. So not happy with him. Is there another line that I really despise posing? Yes, I'm going to bring in one of probably the worst articulated figures this century, and that is the Kingpin. Okay.
It's a shame because he looks amazing, doesn't he?
It looks absolutely amazing. This material, unfortunately, is if you haven't washed your hands, it's a kind of white that will get dirty and be visible dirty. It can clean off, no problem, but handling, all the oils that we have on our fingers and stuff. Yeah. But for arm, that's it.
Fucking hell. It's not even a right. It's not even a right angle, is it?
No, and that's the worst knee joint I've ever seen in my life.
God.
That's awful.
It
is. He's a henchman. Well, not a henchman, but he's a hench figure. Yeah. And most of his poses will be him overlooking, whatever crime his goons are going to do, or standing over Spidey. But the best way I could get the action shot out of him in that Kingpin shot was literally just to get him in that pose, because he was so damn heavy. I had to have an ACBA stand tucked in, and that's what I did the stand with. And because he was out of focus, you didn't see the joints. But for action shots, he's not much you can do apart from probably, I'm coming for you, rather than actually doing something.
Yeah.
This will test your ability to pose and get the camera angle to make it look good at the same time. But weirdly enough, for someone who doesn't have any ab crunch, it's all one piece there. His top half, it can turn like a motherfucker, but it don't move to fourth.
Yeah.
Does not move back.
You can do it like a twisting body, but you can stand over somebody.
Yeah.
Without using some kind of stand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And moving on to my next tip, which is what I always do, and I'm assuming loads of others do it, but obviously especially with Marvel Legends, an example, there's a head that just will not get in position because the peg is literally just a hinge, and that. And if you want him to look at a certain direction and the peg is not allowing it, best thing to do is to pop the head off, tuck the peg as best you can, and get the head in any position you want. Obviously, let's do that way. With some blue tack. Stick some blue tack on the inside and hide it so the ball is out of the way, and then you can, as long as it mirrors with your camera angle, you can put him in his position that the head wouldn't naturally go in before. And I do that quite frequently, actually, is to just shove some blue tack up in there and have the head in any position I want then.
It's the same thing if you've got a running position and you want to have him leaning forward. So if you've got a flash, for instance, and you want him leaning forward, but you just haven't got that articulation, just pop the head up, or if you can, and then just pop it on the front like that. So you've got it, and then blue tack it on it. From that angle, you will not see the difference, and in distance.
Nope, Not at all.
And that's that's it, isn't it? It's all about using what you've got. And I couldn't tell you how lucky we are to have like blue tack, because it gets used for everything. I just go through tons of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. It's just so handy. Yeah, that's the stuff. Or sticky tack, as referred to in the Americas. Or if you like Simon and work in a bakery, you have cheese wax, which
I use the cheese wax for my my blood effects. The cheese wax. So if I heat it up, put it on there, because it looks so similar. And so when I did that Deadpool shot and he was just getting whittled to bits, he was actually stuck to him via the cheese wax, and you couldn't see the joint, which I love that. I've got some cheese wax here somewhere.
Does it stink? It's cheese wax.
Yeah, but the baby bells.
Yeah.
Yeah, just buy it. If you don't like cheese, throw the cheese away and just heat it up in your hands, and it's perfect.
The skin that you peel around.
The wax that it protects the cheese in. Yeah, something simple like that. I'm trying to find it now. There somewhere. Where's my box? There it is. So it's just that stuff there. If you can see.
Oh yeah. Of course, it's straight in. It's red as well.
Well, from a distance, if you, like how I did, is I stuck it to the back, so you can see from that side. You can't really see it, because when it sticks to a figure, and it does stick to the figure, so if you heat it up, it'll stick to that figure, and it'll just look like.
Perfect. Look at that. Yeah. Blended straight in.
It is, yeah, and it sticks for quite a while as well. So you don't have to worry unless you've got quite a hot room, and then they can start falling off, and then it's just a ball ache. But it's just little simple things like that.
Yeah. No, it works well, mate. It really works well. I don't know if Tom will be joining us. I'm hoping he will be chiming back in. I think he's waiting for his battery to charge. But in the meantime, I am going to move you across to a little display I've got set up of different lines of figures and the stuff you can get them in the different poses. So I am going to flip the camera around now. There we are. Okay, so what we have here, we have a different selection of lines. So obviously my Mezco blade. Where's my finger? There you go. The Kingpin was back there. So what I wanted to go on to is another one of my favourites to pose, which is Tom's least favourite. Is
hello.
Is he coming back in? I don't know what's gone in here.
No, that's it.
There we are. That's better.
Yeah.
That's better. I've lost picture of you for some reason. I don't know why. Oh no, there it is. There we are. Okay, yeah. So one of my favourites is the Maifix comic book Spider-Man. Now I've got him here on a flight stand. This is very reminiscent of the pose I had him in my shot from the first episode. And yeah, he's the amount of articulation this dude's got is absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, you can pull off this kind of web swinging pose with the arm back, the front arm forward and down, and one of the legs out, and one of the legs straight forward. And basically they give you an image of this on the box, so you can mimic it there. The visual reference is right there. You don't need to Google image anything. And obviously we touched upon the blade, and let's go ahead to my recent Wolverine that I've got, which is the Weapon X. Now he has really good articulation for someone that's got harnesses all over him. He's got great butterfly joints, and yeah, his feet are planted nicely. He's got good balance, and yeah, overall brilliant. It's just obviously I wish he had a different facial expression underneath the helmet.
Ben,
yes.
Would he make a good body figure? So if you're after a body, just a 6-inch body, plain body, would he make a good figure for that?
He would, for sure, as he's got trunks on. All the stuff, the harness doesn't like peg out and remove, but if you didn't care, then you could just cut it off.
Yeah.
Or you could just slip it over his head or something along with the belt. But the whole belt, harness, and all those pipes are all connected to each other.
Yeah.
So you could easily take them all those parts, and the wrist parts as well. The wrist bracelets, they're rubber, they're loose as well. So you can take it all off, and you've got yourself a plain clothes body, with some trunks.
That'd be quite cool, wouldn't
it? Yeah, a bit like the Aquaman, but the Aquaman you had the sculpted on bracelets. So I had to keep, for my Boyka custom, which I've yet to finish, I had to switch them out with the vintage Punisher because they had the same forearm, and then just paint them skin color.
Yeah.
Just so he could have bare forearms. But this one, no, all the pieces you see on him are loose and they can be removed, and it's just perfect for a plain body. If you wanted to do MMA fighter of some kind, or just someone chilling out on the beach. Perfect for it. So he's great for customizing. Absolutely. Whilst I've got him in front of you, I want to tell anyone who's got a Wolverine, stop posing your Wolverine without adjusting the claws. The amount of posts I see of a dynamite Wolverine shot and the frigging claws are like that. They can move. They can, but they're fiddly as hell, and some of them will not cooperate. But if the two outer claws on a hand are constantly wanting to point inwards, then take them out and swap them over, and they should flare out into a nice taper. Okay. Some of them, my Tiger Stripe Wolverine, one of the holes is so big the thing just flops around, but I just stuck some blue tack in there. Wonderful blue tack again coming to the aid. But as you can see, that there is your perfect taper. That's all you need. It's either that, or I see them do this, where they're like wide out. And it's kind of like, no, that's just all wrong as well. So please, if you're going to pose your Wolverine, take the time to pose the claws too.
The claws look really good on that one.
Yeah, these actually, out of the box, these came pretty good. Normally they come all skew with, and then people just leave them that way. But because you can remove these ones, the non-toy based ones where they were warped and you couldn't do shit unless you heated them up, you can adjust them. But these actually came out pretty decent straight out of the box, so I was quite happy.
Even the colour, have you repainted them, or is that the colour they came?
No, only just added blood, which is a bit hard to tell here. But I've just added some little blood from when I did my Wolverine shot. Other than that, I haven't touched them.
Yeah, they've got a really nice metallic colour to them. They're normally quite milky.
Yeah, they've got like a gunmetalish. Still plastic. I wouldn't say there's a sheen on them. Let me bring them up closer, actually. Okay. So if it'll focus from that far away. Yeah, they're a decent colour.
Yeah. I'm quite tempted to pick that. They actually look like a slightly different sculpt as well.
I think they are the same.
They probably might just be the colour and focus right. They just look a little like the little curve at the end looks slightly different, but
yeah.
Might just be that I haven't picked my Wolverine up in a long time and I can't remember
it. But yeah, no, these are really nice. I'm just happy they seem everyone's that came out of the box seemed to be pretty straight. But yeah, no,
I should awesome. Just pick that up just for those claws to put on my Tiger Stripe one.
Yeah, my Tiger Stripe, they're all over the place.
You can pick up the metal ones, can't you?
Oh yeah.
Sorry, mate.
You can pick up the metal claws to go as like an extra, can't you?
People have made.
You can.
Crap, and they rust.
Do they?
Yeah.
I've not bought them. I know I've seen them in various shops, and I think I've seen people selling them.
Yeah, Can of Beans is the latest person to put out his version, and they look good. They're just extremely thick. He hasn't. They're not thin at all, so they're very blunt looking from the top.
Yeah.
Obviously, they look great from the side, but they're just very, very thick. Like they haven't.
I'm still waiting for someone to make curved ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might have to try and make some myself out of get some like like the big like the safety pins.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And like I get 6 of those and cut the points off and like bend them up a bit and see if I can make something out of those.
No, agreed. Yeah, that's actually a good shout.
Yeah.
So I can get your stable here. Okay. And for my stand break. Yeah.
I think you need to get rid of that Spider-Man myself.
You're not liking him, no?
Well, I mean, I think you should just. Well, I mean, don't throw it away. But if you send it to me, I'll throw it away for you.
Without breaking the pegs first.
I really like Spider-Man. I think it looks amazing, even though I don't like Maifix QC issues at all. I think that's a really nice looking Spider-Man.
Yeah, no, even this one, obviously, people were being cursed with the broken peg, and I have to treat this one like I'm walking on eggshells, just to make sure it doesn't happen to me. But
I've emailed Maifix about my life, funnily enough.
Would you ever pick up another version of that, or are you pretty much just going to go for it?
I would. I mean, in fairness, I would pick up that one.
Yeah.
Over the Homecoming one that I've got.
Yeah.
But I'm at the point where I can't even find a peg for it, so I might just end up buying like the 15 quid bootleg one off eBay.
Yeah.
The peg out of it.
Yeah.
Because it's a really nice figure, in fairness, and I still want that figure, but I like the Homecoming one as like a young Spider-Man, like a teenage.
Yeah.
Because of the size of the body, it kind of works well with Legends as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For being a young Spider-Man, but I need an adult Spider-Man.
Yeah. No.
And ideally, I want that one.
It is good, man. The head sculpt's pretty decent as well.
Again, now is flooded with bootlegs of that. So trying to buy a second-hand one, you never know what you're going to get.
It's pain. It really is. I know, because it's who someone might be trying to sell it genuine, especially if the bootleg really looks close to it.
Yeah.
If it's not obvious, then you're going to be struggle to know what you get until you get it in hand. But yeah, so just going. He's definitely one of my favourites to pose up. Blade for sure. The Legends just showing how you get the butterfly joints is just really good to get him into good Wolverine sort of stances. Harley Quinn.
I need Legends to. Sorry to butt in, but I need Legends to get rid of the Bucky Cap body and use the Sunfire body as the new Bucky Cap.
Yeah, agreed.
That is what they need to do.
Yeah.
Because then you've got butterfly joints, you've got good ab articulation. Like the whole articulation on that Sunfire body is really nice.
Yeah.
Like every figure should be on that one. Like the new Quicksilver that's coming out is on that body.
Yeah.
And looks really good. But then Magneto looks like he's on the Captain America body. Or the what else have they done on that body? You know the one I mean, it's like slightly beefier than the Bucky Cap, not the Hyperion. It's like between the two. The Dread Knight, I think they've done on that one as well, and they've done a couple of others. And I think Magneto's on that one, but I think if they can start moving everything towards butterfly joints.
To
be honest, I think whoever's in charge of the Power Rangers
needs
to go down a floor.
100%.
Legends office and take over.
Yeah, 100%.
They've smashed those Power Rangers.
Yeah, 100%. I haven't busted him open yet because I haven't had a chance to, but I've seen enough reviews. This dude is loaded with some familiar articulation and a lot of new. So definitely can't wait to get some shots of this guy. I'm actually going to try and team up with my friend Rob because he's got the giant Tiger Zord. I'll try and do like a motif shot where he's in a pose. I think I saw someone do it similarly, and you got the white Tiger Zord in the background. It's kind of like a montage kind of shot. So yeah, looking forward to that. Another one that's difficult, that doesn't have much articulation, but you can get some good looks out of them, is of course the Turtles. They're very limited in the waist area. See, with the front and the shell, he hasn't got much movement, but he does, if I'm mistaken. And obviously with the knee pads and the elbow pads hindering the articulation somewhat, there is some double joints in there, but you can pull off some great looking fighting stances and some kicks and all everything that you want your Ninja Turtle to do. So there we are. Yes. So as I was saying, you can get them into some pretty decent fighting stances with the limited articulation that they have to play with. Again, it's just testing what you can do with it. There is some give. You can push them that little bit extra. But I absolutely, as limited as this guy is, I absolutely love posing these up. They're just phenomenal. And yes, you'll know that when you both get them in hand very soon.
Hopefully.
What I would like to say at this point is, don't think that spending more money is going to get you more figure.
No, not whatsoever.
Because I've just picked this guy, the Monster Arts Predator.
Yeah.
Which is a very, very expensive figure nowadays. I mean, it wasn't that cheap when it came out, but nowadays it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm going to flick back around to me now.
While it's quite good, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a stunning looking piece. It really is. Articulation-wise, it's a bit of a bitch.
Really?
And, I mean, you haven't got that much head movement. Like, you can't really get much up. It just kind of push back down. You can get a bit of down.
Yeah.
But then what happens is his mandibles pop out.
Oh.
Because he's got interchangeable mandibles, so you've got to watch out for things like that.
Yeah.
So, well, for me, this is a fantastic figure.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. I wouldn't get rid of it for the world. If I was doing just a standalone Predator shot, I would probably pick up a NECA off my shelf as opposed to this one off my shelf.
Yeah.
Because I think the NECA, especially now they're doing the Ultimate Edition ones, you know?
Yeah, the double joints.
You get so much more. Like, you've got a lot of range in this, don't get me wrong. And especially when this was released, NECA hadn't really got onto the Ultimate Edition ones.
No.
So it wasn't such a thing. But, I mean, this has got a toe pivot on it, as you can see there, which
oh, yeah.
moves that much.
What's the point?
Exactly. Like, there's no need. It's got barely. I mean, it's the sculpt is the main thing. Like, you've got hardly any ankle pivot at all.
No.
Like, you've that much.
Oh, Christ, yeah.
Which, I mean, isn't. I mean, it's about Mezco standard. And it's because you've got these big spikes coming off the side. Like, there's not much they could do, really. When you're being faithful to a movie design, there's only so much you can do. But,
yeah.
I mean, that figure to buy boxed and complete now could cost anywhere up to like 140 quid.
Good now.
And it's not going to get you any more than a NECA for 20, 25 quid.
Yeah.
So sometimes don't be fooled into thinking that you need to spend big money to get everything you want out of a figure, because
that's right.
Do your research, get online, look at reviews, know what you're buying before you buy it. Don't just think because something's more expensive, that's the better one.
Facts. 100%.
Quite often it is, but do your research.
Check it out first. It doesn't really harm, does it?
No,
not at all, mate. Not at all.
Due diligence is all you need, and you're not going to throw money at something that's not worth getting, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, this is a fantastic figure. I would never get rid of it for the world. It's just sat on the shelf, especially next to your SHF, where it's in scale with all of them.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. And considering most of my stuff is that sort of scale,
yeah,
the NECA ones don't work. Whereas
no, exactly. It's too tall.
But, say, for the money, if someone said, shall I get the Wolf Predator from SH Monster Arts or shall I get a NECA one? I'd always say, just get a NECA. Because you'll get more for your money.
Yeah. The sculpts are there, the details there. You get, the fair few accessories. If you're all right with NECA QC issues every now and then,
well, yeah, I mean, the Jungle Hunter one I've got, the first time I tried to change the hand, both the claws just snapped clean.
Oh, really?
Fucking hell.
Oh.
Which was annoying.
Yeah.
Now he's kind of like my battle damage Predator on the shelf, But it's not too bad.
My City Hunter, and when I went around and collected all of the Lost Tribe from Predator 2 at the end, a few of them had that spear. You can just about see with me hand there, and the very tips, all of them apart from that one, snapped. Which is unfortunate, and it's just one of those things. It's brittle plastic they use on their accessories, and they can just go, or it get loose, very, very loose. Or more often than not, and Simon can back me up on this, is you get one leg shorter than the other, and he leans when you try and stand him. That's a NECA 100% speciality. Best screenshot ever. Oh dear. That's me with my faves and my dislikes and a few posing tips. Any other posing tips you want to touch upon? Possibly into like the vanilla stuff, walking, standing.
I would say your best bet, if you're coming up with a pose, especially if you haven't done the pose before or if you're new to doing it, get online, get some visual references.
Yeah, 100%.
And I mean, the best thing, what I quite often do, because especially if you're doing comic book poses, you want them far more exaggerated than real life, is look up artistic references.
Yeah.
Which are what comic artists would use.
Yeah.
Where you can get your crazy design, like crazy poses and things like that.
Yeah, providing your figure can move that way. Obviously, know the limits of your figure as well. But more often than not, you can get them in those poses. And in any areas that don't look right, like those sticky out hips, if you've got them really twisted, then, try and maneuver the person who's trying to punch or something in the way so it covers it up. There's all different areas you can try and have some fun with. Definitely. No, I agree. Learn how the human body works, how it moves, how it looks. You don't need a degree in it, but just some visual references can go a long way to get in. Something just to look natural. With the running, we see it all the time with the leg and the knee are in the wrong. You get the same arm and knee that are up.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Even on a walking pose,
the walking too.
Always remember that it's opposites.
Yeah.
You need your leg, your arm to be opposite.
Yeah.
You don't walk with your arm and your leg swinging the same way. It's always like that.
If the left foot is out, the left arm is back.
Yeah, forward, opposites.
Yeah.
And that's such a simple mistake that you see so many people making. I've made it countless times.
Yeah, it's easy to make. It's easy to do, though, isn't it?
Yeah, you see some of the best can make that mistake. Sometimes you just kind of forget. You're so busy posing around.
Yeah.
You'll get it to where you want it, put it down, and it just escapes you that you've got it the wrong way around. So it's just always something to bear in mind. That running, walking, even kind of just a standing pose, you kind of want it opposite.
Interesting.
Get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't square him off. Don't square him off. Don't have him just like he's come out of the box.
Yeah. Just flared out, ready to kick your ass.
Yeah.
And go into battle.
Maybe a slight angle because like you do normally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking
this
across.
One,
Yeah.
Being on the battlefield or just looking out.
Yeah.
But I said so for vanilla, just stand up like this is how I have him standing on the shelf. Just so that, and it's kind of creating a bit of a V. Like that.
Yeah.
So you've got legs. The legs and the body are creating a slight V. Not crazy. You don't want like a gangster lean on it. You just want a little bit of a V. Legs slightly spread. You don't want the legs together. Just get a little bit of distance on them. Arms tucked back a little bit. You don't want the arms sticking forward, so they're kind of back behind the chest because it makes the chest look bigger. You get that more hero pose. Yeah. And head down, not like buried in the buried, but just down a little bit.
Yeah.
And you just get that kind of
brooding look.
More heroic.
Yeah.
Pose, which is what if you're just doing a vanilla shot, or even if you just want them standing on your shelf.
Yeah.
I think that's sort of a
static pose.
So it's a good tip for posing and practicing. Is just while you're sat there, have a figure in your hand and just play with it. Do it, try and get it. Try and make those, those poses that you see them in the films and in the comics and on TV shows. Try and get them looking similar. Try and get some really cool ideas. Yeah,
if you're watching John Wick and you've got a John Wick figure, run up, grab your John Wick figure, come back down.
Yeah.
If you see a thing that you like, pause it. Just put him in that pose that you've got him in, like that you pause that you like.
The jiu-jitsu maneuvers as well, where he's like twisting hands and then about to flip you over his head and shit. I mean, just you get some visual references if you can see it on the screen. If you're watching at the same time, brilliant. If not, you can Google image any reference to that.
I've got 10 to 15 images like saved on my phone. It's not just one. One image will probably have 20 poses on it.
Yeah.
And they're just good go-to references for.
Absolutely. The same with acrobatic stuff.
But it gives you a solid base to work from.
Yeah. And they look really good as well, don't they? I know the images you're on about. They are really good and they're useful as well. Because you can get ones with swords and guns and stuff, can't you?
Yeah. I mean, I use it in my art as much as I use it in my figure posing. So it's always worth looking at things like that.
Yeah. Especially
if you're pulling off comic book poses as opposed to film poses,
Yeah. That's right. aerial maneuver sort of twist. Again, it's just a pose. I Google imaged and I sort of memorized it in my head how the arms move. He's like spinning out of the way or something, and that's how I had me Spidey shot with the Kingpin, and just anything dynamic like that for sure. Just have a visual reference. If you try and guess it off the dome, there's a good chance you'll be looking at anything, and that's something that doesn't look right here. So 100%, man. Best advice is just to have a visual reference in front of you, no matter what it is. Artist's rendition.
And know your characters as well, isn't it?
Know what kind of.
If you've got if you've got like a Deadpool or a Spider-Man, you can get away with those really cool, sort of over the top, flamboyant sort of poses, can't you? If you've got like a quite a stiff character, you just don't, you don't need to put them in those, to get those kind of shots.
No, exactly. If someone is more, just like Batman is brooding, standing over a city, or he's about to punch someone and kick their teeth in.
Yeah, sometimes it can just look like he's just standing there, can't they? He doesn't necessarily set himself up for a fight. He doesn't set himself up for his next maneuver, does he? He leaves it blanks and he just attacks.
The other thing that I've noticed a lot of people doing first time is they'll get a great pose, and it's a really like you get a punching pose, like they've got him, like ready to go, and they'll move back and get the whole figure in shot.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be.
No.
Because that's when you end up with the dead space. And
that's your framing, isn't it? Yeah.
You don't always need to have all the figure in every shot. And when I think that was one of the most important lessons I learned when I was sort of coming up through learning how to do all this.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the time it looks great if you've got the whole figure in there. But sometimes you don't need it. You get the drama you need.
Yeah. It's like kind of, you can...
Yeah, like that now.
Yeah.
You don't need to see the whole figure to get what's going on in that shot.
No.
You're getting more drama.
Both are positioned so it fills the frame. I'm trying to get it because I'm reversing this at the moment. So it's that way, yeah. And the drama's sold already.
Yeah.
And that's what a comic book panel would be too.
Whereas, say, when I first started, I would have probably moved back and taken the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't need it.
No.
Yeah, definitely.
I think one of the best, if you're doing, especially ACBA, like articulated comic book art, is read some comics.
Yeah.
Look through how the panels are set up.
Yeah.
Not every page is a splash page.
No. Exactly.
A lot of it's close up. Even just like talking shots and things like that, you don't need to see everything.
Even like, just some just eyes, obviously if you're focused, but, just one thin panel of like, him, looking through his glasses or some shit, and then the next one he's punching some dude in the face. It's, you can get so much inspiration just by the comic panels.
You can have a panel shot with Blade there, just face, holding the glasses, putting the glasses on, and then next shot have that punching one that you just done. And that, like a nice little story panel with very little effort needed.
Yeah.
But would sell a story right there. So don't always think that you need to show everything all the time.
No, and they normally come in above, and you end up. Again, that's where the camera angle goes hand in hand with your pose. You can see what they're going for, but it doesn't look as dynamic as it could be because you're looking over everyone. Whereas you can get a good underneath tight grip, and so you can see the action coming in, and that works so much better.
Yeah,
I
would always say and I've said this to a few people when they've like showed me their photos. Start as low as you can, and work up, because the people that will start just looking straight on at it and take a photo.
Yeah,
and more often than not doing that, they end up with the camera looking too high. Yeah, almost like you're looking down on it when you don't want to be. So start low, and you can work your way up to get it exactly where you want it. But don't just pick up your camera, point it straight at them, and take a photo.
It helps sell the scene as well, because they're so small. If you come down onto a small character, you automatically think it is a small character because the angle that you're looking at is a dominant position. Whereas if you're looking up to something, it's the size. Again, if you're looking up to something, it must be bigger because you're looking up to it.
Yeah.
So it helps sell the one scale as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The 1/12 scale.
I mainly learned that by using mini-mates.
Yeah.
Like, you have to go low with mini-mates. You haven't got a choice. Sometimes you get away with going above if you're doing like a flying shot or things like that. But generally, you want to be low with mini-mates because they're mini. And you don't want them to look mini in a shot. You want them to look big.
Yeah.
Then you still need to look impressive. They still need to fill a frame.
Yeah.
So you have to be creative with what you're doing.
So that's it, man.
Don't just stick to one scale. Mess around with different scales. And you can pick up little things that you might not think of that will come in handy next time you do another shot.
Yeah.
Perspective, get to learn that a bit more, especially with smaller scale stuff, trying to get a bigger scale thing or a smaller scale thing to look bigger in a camera too. Just change up the scales, and you can mix up the lines that way, even if they're just, if they're not in scale with each other. I know some people prefer to stick to one line in a shot. I get it. And it's hard trying to sell a shot when a figure's bigger than the one next to it. But yeah, it's just have a play. You just don't limit yourself to how you've got it set in here, because your shot will evolve. Like with the danger room scene, as I said to Tom, that was never a danger room scene originally. I was just trying to take a picture of Beast to put in my damn video of leaping over something, and I thought, well, maybe have some destruction around it. Oh, how about if I had some other characters in the back? And what if I had this? And then I had a black background to start with, so all of that was happening with just a black background. It just weren't working for me. I thought, hold on, Ben. It took me all day to figure this out, and I looked at Tom's prison wall diorama bits he sent me, and I thought, you know what? I could turn this into a danger room scene. Took a bit of fiddling and finessing to get everything in frame, and to try and hide everything a millimeter off, and you would have seen the top of my shelf and shit like that. But that's where the fun is. And then it turned it into like the beginning of X-Men 3, where they go in and the simulation starts, and that's it. There you go, you're fighting. And that's what it just a shot evolves as you're shooting it. On some occasions, some of you know straight away what you want, and you want to get it that way, and you'll get it. But more often than not, if you're going in with a general basis of an idea, and the thing will just evolve as you're doing it. If something's not working, you try it. Don't give up because it's not looking how you want to look. Change your angle, change your pose. Introduce other stuff, it just let your mind wander, and eventually you'll come up with something that you're really happy with.
Yeah, I mean, that is where I feel I'm struggling at the minute, to be honest, is that I haven't got the space to leave a setup for any great length of time.
Yeah.
Like, I have to try and picture as much of it in my head during the day as I can, so the limited time I've got nowadays to take a shot, I mean, I can't leave it. I mean, I've got 2 young kids, so I can't leave. Or it's not going to stay like that.
No, I can feel you. I feel you on that one. I got 3 girls, and all they want to do is come in here and play with my toys, get the props out, and they do that. And I'll have Freya stood next to me, and she's like, "Can I borrow that one?" You're like, "No, I'm fucking using that. Leave it alone." And then she's there with the diorama. She's there with Tom's diorama. The shop, and she's like, "Oh, do you know what? I'm gonna." And it's like, "Fucking no." Don't play with it. Don't break it. Oh.
The worst fear is having.
And she's there, and I've got my camera, and she's there with my mobile trying to take a picture. And that's the moment. That's the moment you go, oh, actually, I should let her do it. But she loves it.
It could be 2 of your high end figures, and they're doing this. Oh, you're kissing. And you're like, oh, what are you doing?
Peter and Ray.
Yeah.
You kind of find it. You can't really say no, like. And I bought, like, my daughter got that cuddle team leader that I had earlier.
Yeah.
It's actually my daughter's one. And I walked in the kitchen the other week when she got it. She didn't realise I'd walked in, and she was standing there putting it in different poses and taking photos of it on her phone.
It's awesome, isn't it? And you do feel a bit guilty because she likes she likes my Marvel Legends Ant-Man and the Wasp. I've got them for Marvel Legends, and I don't mind so much because I don't use them because I've got the SHF. And she's there.
Take a pic in.
and she just absolutely loves them, and she's trying to pose them, and they're falling over, and she's getting really frustrated, and you're thinking, yeah, I know what that feels.
Yeah.
and you're there going, use this blue tack, and we're just sticking everything everywhere, trying to stick them up. But it's, you know, those moments where you look back and think, yeah, do you know what? It's actually quite cool. But it's when she gets out all the bits they're expensive, and no, put those back.
Imagine if we had that as kids, you know, where someone showing it, we wanted to, you know, if we had obviously tiny little cameras back then at our disposal, and we could turn our playtime and capture it, you know.
Yeah. How cool would that be?
Yeah.
But this is it. I'm going back
good now.
To what I said earlier, like when I was watching the adverts, when they had the whole setup, so like the city scenes and everything.
Yeah.
I'll say, if my boy comes in and I'm taking a photo, I've got a load of toys set up on a big city scene. That's all he sees.
Yeah.
Like, that's the advert that he watched is now set
in your house. Exactly.
In his house.
All he wants to do is play with it. And I don't blame him at all. Like, that's exactly what I'd want to do when I was his age. And that's exactly why I'm doing what I do now. So
we're making up
higher end toys, bigger budgets.
Yeah.
But there is literally only so long I can leave a setup with space and children.
Yeah, I agree.
2 days, but if you've got that luxury, don't just set it up and take the first shot and think, "Yep, sorted."
No,
as long as you can, because little tweaks, like it might be a day and a half, 2 days later, where you'll be looking at the phone and think, "Oh, actually, if I move that barrel over to there, that kills that dead space and creates the room I want there." Like, don't just be satisfied with the first shot you take. Keep it up as long as you can.
I always think the other one is when you're setting up a figure just to pose him, think about the main color of your figure. So if I'm setting up my Deadpool shot, in the background I had a yellow bin. So I had my Deadpool, and I set him up with all the bullets around him, and then I had this one in the background. And you know when you just think it's too much red.
Yeah.
It took me absolute fucking ages to realise that. And in the end, in the end it was a simple thing, and you just think, actually, that is it. There's just too much red. And I just swapped out for one of Tom's pallets and I put a rat running up it, and it just changed it all. It just, the focus was there, and everything around it was just whatever it was, you know.
It just makes it
worked. It worked well, yeah.
Final piece
of that's where a colour wheel comes in quite handy as well.
Yeah.
But, like, it's no use for people like me because I have no idea what the fucking colours are, but like they are good for
looking at colours work with each other.
Yeah.
So that's what, it's worth downloading one of those and keeping it on your phone.
Yeah.
If you're not completely colourblind, and that'll no doubt do you some good.
Sorry, buddy.
Exactly. All good tips. Don't be like Tom. I know he didn't choose to be colourblind, but that's a nice blue T-shirt you're wearing there, Tom, by the way.
Oh, it's lovely, isn't it?
Why are you drinking white wine for?
Oh, I've got girly, haven't I?
Oh dear. But yeah, I think that's all the tips out of my tip bag.
Yeah, I think we've verged that topic tonight to make it interesting.
Yeah. Got a mixture there, a bit of segueing into just bitching about articulation. We finally got to some tips on posing. It's all good. It's all fun. But yeah, no, actually, that would be. I think I'll wrap it up for now, guys. I think.
Yeah.
I think
any questions or anything we haven't touched upon, feel free to leave a comment and.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Drop a comment if there's something you want us to cover, or just ask us and we can respond easily. If there's an area of posing that you want to know more about, or just curious, just anything you want, any comment.
If you want to see in future videos.
Yeah, let us know, man. Let us know. We're covering pretty much coming up towards the end of covering everything that we know in talk photography. The main aspect: props, backdrops, figure posing, and there's only so much we can do on. The lighting's pretty obvious. Just as much light as possible. You can never have enough lights, different colours as well. So yeah, just let us know what you'd like for us to chat about more, and we will get on it. But until then, my lovely people, it has been a pleasure as always. I'm going to let you go. So yeah, obviously we have, by the time this gets out, the competition will probably be over, but I'll be announcing the winner of our Instagram Marvel Legends giveaway on Saturday, 6 p.m. via Instagram live stream. Yeah, so if you're around, feel free to drop in, and yeah, so I'll keep it as entertaining as I can. But then I am jetting off on Sunday morning, so I'll be off for a week, and yeah, I'll be sunning it up whilst you're slumming it at work like chumps.
Yeah, just like I was last week.
In hot, sweaty Rome.
Oh, that was awful.
Looked awesome, though.
Oh, it was great, but
it did look awesome.
Walking 28 miles in 37-degree heat is not good.
Not the one. No, I can imagine, mate. I
thought my organs were going to melt. Us English people are not designed for that sort of heat.
Yeah, no.
We pray for summertime, and when it comes around, bitch about it.
Make it hot, no, not that hot.
If the world had a thermostat, we'll be adjusting it all the time.
Oh yes,
for sure. But anyway, that'll be it. Can you please tell me where the lovely people of the interwebs can find you, stalk you, and 1 hour photo print pictures all over their room of you?
Oh, I'm in various places.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on Instagram at ToyArt2, Tom's Dioramas. Obviously for my toy art and my dioramas, it's all clues in the name, guys. And Facebook at Tom's Dioramas, where you just see exactly the same stuff that you'll see on my Instagram. So come and have a look.
Yeah, and you're on the Articulated what was it, Infinite Articulation podcast? You're on this Saturday,
yeah? Sunday nights 8:00 GMT.
Yeah.
You want to hear another bunch of morons talking about toys? I like to spread my ridiculousness about as many places as I can, so come and join us there if you want.
Sprinkling that good ingredients everywhere you can.
Oh, yeah.
Carlos of the Smallridges, House of the Ridge Small, where can I find you, sir?
You can find me on Facebook, or you can find me on Instagram, plastic_action, or you can contact the website. If you go onto the website, plasticactionuk.co.uk, and you can drop us a link there, and we'll all get it. And tell us what you want to see. Tell us what you want more of. Tell us what we're doing well, and also tell us what you think we can improve on. We're always adapting. We're just getting started, so we want to know want that feedback, and we love hearing from you guys. That's the big thing. Is we are toy fans, the same as everybody else, and we want to hear from you.
Exactly. Tell us, give us some constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick, but be nice, because we're nice. Or I'll be a dick back. No.
Don't just complain about Karl, because it's not.
Yeah, you can be a dick to him if you want. You can't wipe that smile off his face. It's too cute.
Big puppy dog eyes. You can't be mean to him.
No, not at all. But so that's it for now, guys. Appreciate you all for watching. Do check out all the social medias and the website. And that'll be it. I said that'll be it about 3 times anyway. I've got to get a good sign off for this. But adios, amigos. That'll be it. One more time. Plastic
Action out.
Bye.
Please be sure to visit Toy Trash, one of the best online UK toy retailers, especially for imports. With free shipping in the UK, there's no reason why you shouldn't head on over there, say hello to Cam for us, and start stuffing that digital basket with lots of deals. www.toytrash.co.uk, founded by collectors, for collectors.